Greetings, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of this week's series on creating, recording, and processing ambient guitar pieces. So what I'm doing is kind of just breaking down the whole process of recording an ambient guitar piece, mixing it, and actually creating a video from it. If you haven't seen episode 1, you should check it out. It's the final performance piece of the series. So I posted that first so you can kind of see what the final product is. On today's video, what I'd like to do is break down the effects chain to show you how I got the sound. As you can see, I've got a lot of pedals on the floor. So we're just gonna look at them one at a time and kind of walk through the process. Okay, all the way to my right, we have a compressor that is first in the chain. But before I turn it on, I'd like to play you just the unaffected dry sound of my signal. It's pretty flat and lifeless. It's actually my Avid 11-rack amp modeling unit, and it's set to a Fender Vibrolux Reverb amp model. That's it, no other effects. The compressor I'm using to provide a little sustain to the tone. And the way I've got it set up is, the volume. The volume is just set to kind of balance the signal. The sustain is up a little bit past 12 o'clock, about 1 o'clock or so. And then this particular Wampler compressor has a blend knob where you can combine the uncompressed signal with the compressed signal, and I've got that a little less than halfway. So let me play again, and then I'll turn the compressor on to let you hear what it sounds like. Okay, so as you can hear, the compressor is providing sustain and body. Next in the signal is the Strymon Riverside. It's a distortion overdrive that I recently reviewed. If you look on the drive knob, I've really got it set down to about 9 o'clock or so. The gain structure is set to high, but with that knob down as far as it is, you'll hear that it's not really a full-fledged distortion, it's more of a crunch. I am not emphasizing mids, so I've got it set to kind of the normal mid-range. And then the tone controls are pretty much straight up the middle. So again, here's the non-distorted tone. And here it is with the Riverside. So pretty mellow, as I mentioned, and it's really just more of a crunch. All right, from there, my signal, since I'm using the Avid 11-rack, goes from the Riverside distortion directly into the guitar input of the 11-rack. All the other effects are connected through the 11-rack's effects loop. So again, if you've got an amp with an effects loop, you can set this up very similarly. I've got my trusty volume pedal here. I'm not really using it for this song, but it's just there to control the signal. The next major effect pedal, though, is the Strymon Dig delay, and I'm using this, you may have noticed this at the beginning, I'm using this as a dotted eighth, kind of 80-ish sounding delay. So let me turn this on and let you hear it, and then I'll describe how I've got it set. Okay, the Dig has 2 delay lines. If your delay does not have 2 delay lines, you can get not exactly the same sound, but you can get off in that direction by simply setting it up to a tempo that allows you to do the dotted eighth thing. In other words, the edge U2 kind of, delay thing. All right, so I'm using, you can see I've got the time set to about a 1 second interval. The delay number 2 is set to the dotted eighth. Repeats are a little bit past noon, and my mix level is close, the delays are close to the dry. Just a little quieter. Okay, so that's the Strymon dig. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off for a minute. The next effect in the chain is the Neunaber Expanse series. So I've got an Expanse pedal, and I've got it programmed to the wet reboot reverb. And let me turn that on so you can hear it. Okay, so with that reverb, it's a really nice reverb, by the way, but with that reverb, as you play and kind of load in sound after sound, you get a bloom effect to the reverb. Let me play that again here. Okay, so it's pretty cool. One reverb wasn't enough for me though, so the last pedal in the chain is, again, a Neunaber pedal. It's the Immerse reverb. And I've got this one set to a shimmer reverb. Let me turn that on, and I'm just going to turn it on by itself so you can hear what's going on. So if you listen carefully, you can hear that shimmer 1 octave above the original tone. All right, pretty cool. Now, when you put both the Neunaber reverbs, the wet reboot, and the shimmer together, here's what you get. So pretty big sounding kind of reverb. Now, if I put the dual digital delay, the dig, back in the mix, I get the full sound. And there's a long tail that kind of continues on after each note, which really blends everything together nicely. But you know, it's one of the things I do like about it is it's not overly muddy. Which is nice since I'm playing a baritone. So it's kind of, you know, there's some low end there. So pretty cool kind of setup. I really like the sound of this. It's pretty versatile. And as you can tell, it's very good for rhythmic types of playing. So, you know, my tempo kind of matches what the tap is set to on the dig. And I'm also taking advantage of kind of some percussive slaps and hits every now and then as I play. Let me show you what I mean. And there's also 1 or 2 spots in the song where I'm actually hammering on the 6th string for the bass notes, again in rhythm to the delay. All right, So that's a breakdown of the patch, of the effects, of the signal chain, how I got the sound. So I hope you stay tuned for episode 3, in which I show you how I mix this in Logic Pro and how I bring it all together in a video using Final Cut. And as always, I'll see all of you on that next video.